Have you ever decided to be one of the world's greatest athletes? Well, you don't know what sport to go into in order to get as much money as possible? Well, fear not. In this video, I'm going to be going through the most lucrative sports in the world, which have turned poor and hungry kids into world-renowned wealthy superstars. The following list is based on multiple factors: money generated through the sport leagues, money paid to athletes, growth opportunities, and my own biased interpretation. And first on my list is boxing. From YouTubers beating it out in the ring to legends being created and carved out through their fists alone. The legacy and history of boxing stretches back thousands of years since its earliest appearance from the Sumerians and the ancient Greeks. But if we're just talking about people punching the shit out of each other, then we can say that boxing started since the beginning of human history. Now boxing has become a world-recognized sport practiced by many people around the globe. And if you're one of the best fighters out there, you can for sure expect to catch yourself a hefty bag.
We like to call this the Andrew Jackson section.
The top-ranked fighters in sports earn hundreds of millions of dollars, like with the 50-0 boxer himself, Floyd Mayweather Jr. having an overall career earning of $1 billion. Even in his last exhibition fight with YouTuber Deji, Mayweather made a cool $10 million to play around. Fight Deji in the ring. Floyd reminds me of when you complete the main story quest and now you're just doing the side missions just to get 100% completion on the game. If you're one of the best boxers in the world, you could be making tens to hundreds of millions of dollars per match. For example, the fight known as the Fight of the Century between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao gave both fighters well over $100 million. Especially Floyd here, who received over $200 million for the fight. But we gotta realize, all these numbers are extremes, and only happens to the top people in this sport. Because the average professional boxer makes $22,000 to $52,000 per year, making a couple $1,000s per fight. But the future of boxing has a lot of potential as more and more money and eyes are being poured into it every year with this new generation of influencers taking up the sport and at the same time creating a new medium to promote the fights and make a lot of money in the sport. Golf. Some of the highest paid athletes in the world come from golf. Literally on the Forbes top 25 highest paid athletes of all time list, the top 4 spots are occupied by 3 golf players. From the enormous prize pools in the PGA Tour events to endorsements and sponsorships. In the 2022 to 2023 PGA Tour, there was $428.6 million of prize money up spread throughout 47 events. There are many ways for professional golfers to leverage their skills in the sport, especially now with new league LIV Golf, which is financed by money from Saudi Arabia, who started to pay top professional golfers to play in their league, including Tiger Woods himself, who reportedly rejected $800 million to play for LIV. Dude, you know how much money you gotta be making to reject close to $1 billion to play some golf? But of course, these guys make up the tippy top of the world of golf. For the average PGA Tour golf player, you could expect to be making about $1.5 million a season, according to the one in 2021. But this may be very skewed by some of the top players in the tour. Because if you're one of the lowest ranked players in the tournament, let's just say your payout range will be in the 4 to 5 digit range. American football. One of the main reasons American football is so high up on my list is due to the amount of money one league generates, the NFL. Although the sport of American football has mainly been popular in America, it is still able to generate the most profits out of any sports league out there due to their high lucrative sponsorships and broadcasting deals. Last year in 2021, the NFL was able to create $17.1 billion in revenue. And for the everyday average NFL player, you could expect to be making $2.7 million. But if you're good enough to be a quarterback for your team, the average goes up even higher at $7 million. One of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers, makes about $50 million in annual salary through his 4-year, $200 million contract. While the richest person ever produced in the sport was Roger Staubach, as he now has a net worth of about $600 million. But the funny thing is, he made the majority of his wealth after he retired in 1980 through his real estate company.
A heartbeat.
Probably the most well-known and practiced sport in the world. Soccer. The sport of soccer is loved by people around the world. Whether you're an extremely poor country or doing okay country, soccer is a very easily accessible sport to play. All you need is a ball and your feet, which definitely helped make it the most popular sport out there. Because of this, there's a lot of eyes and money shining on the sport, especially with the recent World Cup and its soccer matches that will go down in history. Since soccer is played around the world, it will obviously have multiple leagues to represent it, like the English Premier League, Bundesliga, and La Liga. The most profitable league in the world would be the English Premier League. The league is valued at $9.03 billion, but probably most incredibly, the league has an audience size of about 4 billion. This league, combined with the other top leagues around the world, makes it one of the most profitable sports in the world. In addition, the FIFA World Cup in Qatar has generated $7.5 billion to FIFA for 4 years of commercial deals before the game even started. At the same time, the prize pool for this year's World Cup was about $440 million. And the winning team would not only receive the beautiful golden trophy that every little up-and-coming soccer player dreams of in their sleep, but also a nice $42 million on top. And if you're one of the best players in the world, let's just say that $42 million isn't something you haven't seen before. This year, Mbappe, not only did he dominate in the World Cup for France, he also made a good chunk of money for himself in 2022 at about $128 million. But if Ronaldo's contract with Al Nassr goes through, let's just say he'll be making more than $200 million per season for the next 2.5 years. The GOAT himself, Messi, who just won the World Cup, has the world as his oyster. If he chooses not to retire, we can expect him to be making a lot more than he did this previous season. From sponsorship deals, endorsements, and a world audience. If you're one of the world's best soccer players, your life will be filled with lucrative opportunities coming at you left and right. Even if you're just an average player in the English Premier League, you'll still be getting a good chunk of cash. Depending on what club you join, you could be making $1 million to, I don't know, $8.5 million on average a year. So not bad. Basketball, baby. The home of dunking and bouncing balls. The industry alone has created so many opportunities for athletes and companies to rise up and make a lot of money. The NBA, which is the main home for basketball in the world, made $10 billion in revenue for the 2021 to 2022 season. And the average NBA team is worth about $2.86 billion. And there's about 30 teams in the league. So if we do some quick maths, that would bring the total valuations of the team alone to be about $85.8 billion. And just a little fun fact, the highest valued NBA team is the Golden State Warriors at about $7 billion. The largest NBA contract right now is from Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, which is worth $272 million for 5 years. The NBA also has the highest average annual salary out of any sports league in the world, clocking in about $8.32 million. So if you're deciding on what sports you want to play based on how much money they make, then basketball would definitely be on top of the list. But really, it is what happens outside of the court that makes basketball such a lucrative sport for any player. Basketball has created a lot of successful and wealthy athletes throughout the years who makes hundreds of millions of dollars and even the big old billion. Like just recently, LeBron James have crossed the $1 billion mark at the age of 37. But only about $431 million came from his salary in the NBA. What really allows most NBA players to go well beyond their basketball contracts are through deals outside of the game. And the person who really demonstrates this the most is the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. Literally the richest athlete in the world according to Forbes. The guy is worth $1.7 billion. But the majority of his wealth came from endorsements and investments, like his contract deals with Nike that have made him, let's just say, a lot of money, due to the popularity of the Jordans. He also made a pretty good investment on the Charlotte Hornets, which would push him to billionaire status. Basketball has helped create many successful and rich athletes throughout the years. Combined with their high average salary, market size, and revenue, it makes basketball one of the most lucrative sports out there for me. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see y'all next time.
Like and subscribe. Gang, gang.
All right. You're in it. Congratulations.
Wait.